You keep telling yourself it's about preparation, about readiness, about getting everything aligned before you make the move. But while you were waiting for the right moment, someone else already finished. They weren't smarter. They didn't have a better plan. They just didn't stop to ask if they were allowed. You were raised to believe that excellence protects you, that if you're good enough, talented enough, deserving enough, the world will notice. That quality speaks for itself. This is the lie that keeps you paralyzed, because while you were perfecting, they were launching. While you were considering consequences, they were already past the point where consequences mattered. They built momentum before you finished your outline. The belief system you inherited was designed to keep you compliant. Do good work and good things follow. Respect the process, and the process rewards you. Wait your turn, and your turn will come. These are the rules of people who need you to wait, who benefit from your hesitation, who require your politeness to maintain their position. You learned to delay gratification so well that you delayed your entire life. You thought your restraint was discipline, that your caution was wisdom, that your patience was maturity. But it was fear, dressed in virtues. You were afraid of being seen as arrogant, afraid of failing publicly, afraid of wanting something too visibly, too desperately, too soon. So you developed elaborate justifications for why waiting was actually the sophisticated choice, why moving slowly was actually strategic, why not starting was actually intelligence. Every day you don't move is a day. Someone with half your ability is building the thing you were too precious to attempt. They're not burdened by your need for perfection. They don't carry your fear of judgment. They're not trying to earn anyone's approval. They're just doing it badly at first, clumsily, incompletely, but they're in motion, and motion creates opportunities that standing still never will. This is what hesitation costs you, not just the obvious losses, not just the opportunities you can point to and mourn. It's the internal erosion, the slow decay of your belief in yourself. Every time you choose safety over action, you confirm a story. You weren't ready. You weren't sure. You needed more time. And that story becomes your identity. The person who almost did things, who could have, if only, who had potential that somehow never translated. You become a spectator in your own life, watching people with less vision execute, watching people with less insight get recognized, watching people with less depth take the spaces you thought you'd occupy once you were ready. And the worst part is not that they won. It's that you never even entered. You disqualified yourself before anyone else had the chance. You made yourself irrelevant through your own caution. The days pile up, weeks of preparation that never conclude, months of getting ready that never transition to doing, years of waiting for a feeling of certainty that never arrives, and somewhere in that fog, you stop being someone who's about to do something and become someone who used to think they might. The dream doesn't die loudly. It just fades into the background of a life you didn't design. But there's a moment when you finally see it, when the fog clears and you understand what's been happening. You weren't protecting yourself with caution. You were burying yourself with it. You weren't being strategic. You were being afraid. And the people who passed you weren't better. They were just willing to be bad first, willing to be wrong publicly, willing to start before they had permission. This is where it changes, not when you feel ready, not when you've eliminated every risk, not when you're certain of the outcome. It changes when you decide that staying where you are is more painful than the fear of moving. When you finally understand that there is no perfect moment, no alignment of stars, no external sign that you're allowed to begin. There's just the decision to stop negotiating with your own hesitation. You start anyway, not because you're fearless, not because you've figured it out, not because you're suddenly confident. You start because staying still has become unbearable, because you'd rather fail trying than fade, waiting, because you finally understand that the people you've been watching weren't chosen. They chose themselves, and the moment you realize no one's coming to give you permission is the moment you stop needing it. You rebuild in silence. No announcements, no explanations, no need to justify your shift to people who are still committed to their own hesitation. You just move, one decision at a time, one action that leads to the next. Not perfectly, not elegantly, just consistently. You become someone who does things instead of someone who thinks about doing things. And that shift, that internal recalibration, changes everything. The people who used to intimidate you start looking different. You see their flaws now, their lack of depth, their shortcuts. But you also see what they understood that you didn't. That done beats perfect. That momentum beats preparation. That being in the arena, even when you're losing, teaches you more than studying from the stands ever could. They weren't better than you. They just started before you gave yourself permission to. You stop waiting for readiness and start building it through action. Stop waiting for confidence and start earning it through evidence. Stop waiting for the right conditions and start creating them through decisions. The talent you always had finally has a structure to operate through, a body in motion, a mind that's done negotiating with fear. And the person you were afraid you'd become, by starting too soon, becomes the person you're afraid you'd have missed by waiting too long. Speed was the only advantage they ever had.